When we look at this table, as the percentage of the purity of aluminum decreases, which is kept in contact with the corrosion atmosphere, 20% hydrochloric acid solution loses weight drastically. So, therefore, this illustrates the corrosion resistance of aluminum depends upon its film formation, because it damages the protective film of the aluminum. Hence, impure aluminum gets mostly corroded in corrosion atmosphere. This film is highly protective if the aluminum is highly pure, and hence the protective nature will enhance, but as the purity decreases, its corrosion increases. So, therefore, it is therefore possible to increase the corrosion resistance of a given metal by increasing its purity. Therefore, refining is the process of purification of crude metals is an integral part of metallurgy. However, production of metals in their ultra pure form is not economical, but pure metal possesses inadequate mechanical properties such as softness, low strength, etc. It should be noted that purification of refining of metals to enhance the corrosion resistance is only effective when corrosion mechanism is only electrochemical, and refining causes reduction in the number of local galvanic couples. It means, if the metal is undergoing by electrochemical corrosion mechanism, then only we can reduce its corrosion nature by purification method. But ultra pure metals are being produced for specific purpose, can be manufactured by refining, like for example, zinc is manufactured by distillation, purified by distillation. Zone refining is used to get the silicon, germanium, gallium. Vapor phase refining, as you have studied in the first chapter, nickel and titanium by Van Arkel or Mons process, etc. Electrolytical refining is used to refine the copper, magnesium, sodium, aluminum, etc. These are the technique by which a pure metal can be obtained. Hence, we can reduce the corrosion. Now, the last method of corrosion preventive measures by internal corrosion measures is heat treatment. Heat treatment, it is another important internal corrosion preventive measures. What do you mean by heat treatment? Though there are different methods here, the general definition of heat treatment we can write. It is a process of heating a metal to a predetermined temperature and holding it at same temperature for sufficient time to effect necessary changes in its grain structure, then cool slowly at a predetermined rate. This is so predetermined temperature to be heated, and it has to be cooled at the predetermined rate. So, because heating, maintaining at particular temperature and cooling this with a specific rate will bring changes in the properties, changes in the structure, and hence improve certain properties. In other words, the properties which are seen after the heat treatment depends upon the temperature to which it is being heated, the time to which it is being exposed to that temperature, as well as the rate at which it is being cooled. So, from that point of view, we have different types of heat treatment which are classified as annealing, normalizing, quenching and tempering, astempering, martempering, case hardening and surface hardening, etc. From the point of view of your examination, only the 4 of them are being discussed. That is annealing, normalizing, hardening or quenching, tempering. These are discussed in detail. So, what is annealing, or it is called as softenings? It is the process of heating the steel to a certain predetermined temperature, holding it at same temperature for a sufficient time to allow necessary changes in its grain structure to take place, and cooling it slowly at a predetermined rate in furnace. Annealing softens stainless steel, induces a stable structure and improves corrosion resistance. So, the definition of annealing, you have to write, it is the process of heating the steel to a certain predetermined temperature, holding it at same temperature for a sufficient time to allow necessary changes in its grain structure to take place, and cooling it slowly at predetermined rate in furnace. What are the changes we expect? Annealing softens the stainless steel, induces stable structure and improves corrosion resistance as well. So, this is one of the important heat treatment. Normalizing, it is the process of heating a metal, generally we take steel here, to a definite temperature which is above its critical temperature and cooled gradually and freely in air. It is in air, air is having a least drastic quench. So, what are the changes we expect from this? It is refinement of grain structure takes place, recovery of homogeneity takes place, remove the internal stresses, it increases the toughness of metal, and more oftenly it improves the corrosion resistance. So, this is what is known as normalizing. Okay. Let us see the what do you mean by quenching. Quenching or nothing but hardening. It is the process of heating metal to brightness above the critical temperature. If you have seen there here, see which is above its critical temperature, here is also above its critical temperature, and cool suddenly in water or oil. See, in the previous case we have cooled it freely and gradually in air. So, these are differences which you are supposed to note. Critical temperature, so after heating it suddenly it is cooled by quenching it in a water or oil. Quenched metal becomes extremely hard and brittle. What are the media in which we can make quenching? 5 to 10% sodium, this is considered to be a drastic quench medium. 5 to 20% brine solution, that is sodium chloride solution, it is also an important quenching medium. Cold water, hot water, mineral oil and animal oil, vegetable oil, air, etc. Tempering, it is the process of heating quenched steel. Look at that, it is after quenched steel. Okay. Restore temperature to be heated to 500 Kelvin to 600 Kelvin, holding it for some time for effective grain structure modification, then cool gradually slowly. Tempering renders metal hard, tough but not brittle. Okay. Here it is hard and brittle, whereas in tempering it loses brittleness with a high corrosion resistance which we are interested in. So, therefore, see these are the treatments. See, annealing, normalizing, hardening or quenching, tempering. Apart from that, astempering, mass tempering, case hardening, surface hardening, these are other methods as well. However, these are beyond the scope of syllabus. So, we restrict ourselves to the only 4. Is that clear? So, now this is a small clip wherein you can see what is the how is this takes place. Okay, we can skip this videos. Now, for all these things, what you can read a Eagle Prakashan Applied Chemistry 2 written by myself, and this will give you suggested readings. The other books which we can refer for this is all I have written here. And questions, let us come to know how what type of questions we expect from this part of the syllabus. Okay. So, question may be of this type: mention different internal corrosion preventive measures, maybe for 2 marks. What are alloys? Give examples, 2 marks. What are the purpose of alloying? Maybe 3 marks. Explain the corrosion resistance enhancement mechanism by alloying, that is you have seen alloying. What are the changes in properties of base metal? Base metal means the metal which is to be protected from the corrosion. Okay. So, base metal means the metal which is to be protected from corrosion. So, base metal takes place by addition of aluminum, chromium and nickel, that may be for 4 marks. What is passivity? Passivity is a property of a metal which shows high corrosion resistance by itself, otherwise it is not expected from its position in the electrochemical series. So, for example, aluminum, nickel etc. are highly passive metals. Name the corrosion mechanism which can retard by refining of metals. So, the corrosion mechanism that will help by refining methods, corrosion preventive measures, is that the metal must undergo electrochemical corrosion. If the metal undergoes electrochemical corrosion, then only we can modify or improve its corrosion resistance capacity only by refining method. Okay. So, mention the properties of metals that are influenced by the addition of aluminum, chromium, nickel, molybdenum metal to steel. This may be a 6 mark question. What do you mean by annealing? Give the properties of the annealed steel, that will be a 2 mark question. What do you mean by tempering? Give the properties of tempered steel. What do you mean by normalizing? Give the properties of normalized steel. Like that, many more questions are expected. What do you mean by hardening or quenching? This is usual question. Give the properties of quenched steel. Write a short note on alloying as corrosion preventive measures. These are long answer questions. I am sorry. What are short? Write a short note on metal refining as a corrosion preventive measures. Write a short note on heat treatment as a corrosion preventive measures. These are the some of important questions one can expect from this part of the discussion, what we call it as internal corrosion preventive measures. Okay. So, this will help you to understand this, and for more things if you need, we can, I suggest you to read Corrosion Engineering by M. G. Fontana, Tata McGraw-Hill or Kuriakose Jayaraman books, and my own book will also help you to prepare for the examination. Okay. This is what is all about internal corrosion preventive measures, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for patience hearing. Thank you.